The Artists and Artisans Development and Network was founded in 2014 to provide resources and community development for artists and artisans who are immigrants to Canada. Artists and Artisans Development Network's mission is to provide support and opportunities for economic and social development to artists and artisans of all practices who are newcomers to Canada or from other visible minority groups. With community collaborations and support from academia, we deliver need-based projects for immigrants in Canada in areas of inclusion, integration, safety, skills development, intergenerational collaborations, and multicultural arts and performing arts. Through projects, local initiatives, visual and in-person events, we bring the community together to celebrate and showcase visual arts, crafts, music, dance, and culinary treats. If you want to be part of this journey, please email us at info@artistandartisans.ca or visit our website www.artistandartisans.ca.
Hi, my name is Khala Mazhar and I am a self-taught visual artist. I am currently heading the Mississauga chapter of the Artists and Artisans Development and Network. Today I'm going to do a little tutorial for you for this contemporary kind of pop art style portrait in watercolor that you can paint along to. I'm doing this just to celebrate Canadian Multicultural Day. And we celebrate Canadian Multicultural Day in Canada just to encourage everyone to reflect on equality and equity and respecting each other's cultures, heritage, you know, all the diversity we have here in Canada. So we would just like to say thank you to the Government of Canada for funding this initiative. And so this is a tutorial. It'll be step by step, so even if you're at a beginner's level, you can follow along. And anyone who likes, you know, lots of experimenting with watercolor, this is just going to be a kind of pop art style for portraits. And the portrait I chose is of an old scene from a classic Indian movie. It was famous back in the day. It had great music, great costumes and jewelry, and it just showed a little bit of, you know, the history of South Asia at that time. So I'm gonna get right into it. Okay, and yes, so this is what I use. This is the Canson watercolor sketchbook. It is 7 by 10 inches, cold press, and 300 grams. And the paintbrushes I use, you could really use any kind of round-tipped paintbrushes that you have, or you can go grab them from, your local whatever art supply store is close. I will mention which numbers they are, so when you're following along. And any watercolors that you have. I've got this one, it's got a lot of colors, and it kind of like just goes into this little rectangle that's really neat to store and doesn't take up a lot of space. So at any time, of course, you can pause the video and, if you need to stop and go over something, and I will post a picture of the sketch that you can do ahead of time, just so that it's easier to follow along when we're painting then. Okay, so here I've got the sketch. I used a mechanical pencil. I really like that they've got, a very fine tip, and it's great to do sketches with. Okay, so first of all, I used my size 8 paintbrush, and these are just paintbrushes I bought at, I'm pretty sure they were just at Walmart. They are just round-tipped watercolor brushes, and what I'm going to do is here I'm just adding water to all of her face, and I will add a bit to her hands as well. I'm going to spread it out, not taking a whole lot of water, just enough to dampen the area that I'm going to be painting. And I'm going to start with the lightest colors on her skin. So I'm taking a peach color here. I don't have the numbers or the proper names of what colors these are, but this is like any light skin tone or any light peach, or maybe even a very light pink or orange that you have. You can use that as well. And I've just made sure that my brush is damp enough, and I start at the edges so that any dark areas are towards the edge, and then I pull it out into the rest of the area with a bit of water, because I want those really light shades. Don't want a lot of dark color, because I am going to be adding shadows in a different color, so I just want that natural kind of skin color tone, but not too much of it. And I'm just spreading it out here all over her face, her neck, and I will do her hand as well. I'm just taking some of that extra paint off of there, adding it to the other finger, because I didn't want the peach color to be that dark. Okay, here I'm using my size 5 paintbrush. And I'm just going to take a bit of blue to start adding in the shadows. And again, you can just kind of use any blue that you have. So I'm just lightly and very gently adding in the outlines of where the shadows will be. And I'm going to do this with everywhere that there's supposed to be some darker shadows. I'm just going to add those in, any dark areas. And I also draw in like where the shadows are going to be when I'm doing this sketch. As you can see, like the area under her nose, I penciled that in. Getting all the edges where the shadows are and where some darker shades are going to be. And I will be adding more color to this. I'm just starting with the blue. This is the area under her jewelry, and of course the shadows under her eyes, the edges of her face. Don't forget to take water as you need it. You don't want a lot of dark color. Now I'm just taking a kind of pinkish purple color that I have with the blue and just darkening those shadows. And I want them to be a bit warmer, which is why I took that, it's kind of like a magenta color, and added that with the blue. And I'm just going to go over all those areas again and spread that out as needed. You can take a different color if you want. I really liked this color, and I wanted the shadows to be not so cool, but a bit on the warm side, just because of the picture, the original picture itself. It had a lot of warmer colors in it. And again, I'm just using kind of an idea of where the shadows are going to be. And with the help of the photograph a little bit, it wasn't exactly what I wanted, but it gave me an idea of where I wanted what colors to be. And of course, this is your painting, so if you want to change any colors, add something different, you can, and it should be what you want it to look like. Just taking a little bit of pink here to add some flush kind of to her cheeks. And I'm going to blend that in with the shadows that are already there so that it doesn't have those harsh lines and it looks more natural. And I'm pulling that pink color into the rest of her face. So it'll be darker around her cheeks and then lighter in the other areas. And if you ever feel like there's an area that's too dark, you can always dampen your brush and just pull that paint out a little bit like I'm doing here now, just so that it has that nice blended look rather than lines. Again, taking a little bit more of that magenta color with a little bit of blue. Get rid of the extra if you think it's too dark. I'm going in with the shadows underneath her lips. And of course the outline. Adding a little bit of peach color right here where the lights are going to be kind of reflecting off the surface of her lips, and it was a really glossy lipstick, so it was pretty shiny. Then I'm going to go in with the darker color. I chose a really nice dark red. And of course the edges of her lips had that little bit of blue there, so they're going to be a little bit darker. And I'm going to leave that area that I had filled in with peach just to give that reflection of the light, and go in with some tiny lines just to make it look more natural. took a tiny bit of blue with the red just to add these dark outlines. Also going to add that dark red color to her fingers that have henna on them. It's a really nice dark red with a little bit of orange in it just to give that kind of henna look. And the henna design was pretty simple. It was just like solid rings around her fingers. And for her nails, I took a bit of orange and left some white streaks on her fingers just to give that impression of her nails being shiny and reflecting that light off of them. Just a little bit on the edge of her hand to show that the henna is on the inside of her hand as well. And now taking black, and I'm going to start going in and doing her eyes, eyebrows, eyelashes. So this is where you have to be a bit careful, and you want really fine lines, especially around the eyes, to get a nice outline. So take your time with it. And when I'm doing the eyes, I'm going to leave a little circle of white in the middle just to give that little glint in her eye. And I'm just going to repeat that process on her other eye. Again, leaving that little circle in the middle where the light is reflecting. And that little tiny speck of white makes all the difference. Taking some ultramarine blue just to add those little shadows under her eyelashes that are giving her eyes a more realistic and kind of mysterious look. And she had some very smoky eye makeup, so I want to give that look. And I'm just using magenta for that. I'm going to go in and add a bit of these darker shades to the shadows now. And again, I just took that magenta color that I had because I want the shadows to be a bit warmer. I'm adding some red here in her hairline because in the photograph you can tell she had probably conditioned her hair with some henna, which leaves this really nice red color in the highlights. And henna is a very traditional kind of thing that South Asian women use to paint their hands, their nails, condition their hair. It leaves a really nice tint. And I'm just adding black here with a bigger paintbrush. I'm not sure what number of paintbrush this is. It's just a paintbrush I had. It didn't have a number on it. Or the number is like faded away, but it's bigger than the number 8 that I used. I'm just going to blend in those bits of red with the black and darken her hair, especially at the edges. Taking some gray to add in some shadows in the dupatta she's got on her head, and just giving an outline of where there's some shiny edges on the dupatta with some kind of work done on it, very traditional South Asian style. And I'm just going to pull in that gray into the rest of her dupatta that's covering her head. It was a very white color, and I didn't want to make it too dark, so I just took the gray and kind of spread it out. Added a touch of blue. Again, darkened a little bit of the areas that were folded or had a crease or wrinkle in them. And this is the area under and behind, so it's going to be a little bit darker. For her jewelry, I just took the number 5 paintbrush, and I'm just taking the yellow and basically just making squiggles. I'm not going to concentrate on doing a lot of detail in the jewelry. This is just a really quick painting, and your eyes will do all the hard work for you, so your paintbrush doesn't have to. So just taking a darker yellow, adding some lines and more squiggles. And it's just kind of haphazard. I'm not really too worried about what design there is or how closely I followed the design on the picture, because it was a really intricate kind of design on all the jewelry. And I just wanted to do this quick painting. So if you just add in some squiggles, it gives the impression of, you know, that gold jewelry without having to work too hard. The eyes kind of do the rest of the work for you. Just adding some gold touches here to the trim on her cloth, on her shirt. A little bit of these patterns, traditional kind of South Asian pattern, and just to give a little bit of detail, I'm going to add in a little bit of the pearls here, so I used gray color. And again, I'm not too worried about everything being completely perfect. It's just a really quick, fun painting. Adding some pearls to this piece here. And again, you just want to kind of give that impression of all this detail. You don't want to go into a lot of detail. Some pearls on the bottom of her earrings. And just darkening the edges a bit where they would kind of be in shadow. Adding blue and a little bit of purple to add some shadow under her jewelry. Against her forehead. A little bit of hair peeking through the design in the jewelry. I'm going to take the big brush and just add these warm kind of reds and oranges in the background. In the original photograph I had, the background was very dark, but you could see that it was some really warm kind of shades, and I just kind of wanted to keep that look. So I went for the oranges and the reds. And also because like the rest of the painting is pretty light, and I just wanted to pick up that red color in her lips and on her nails. I'm just going to add a bit of shadow here for the area that's under her dupatta, behind her shoulders. Also makes the earrings stand out a bit more. A little bit to the edges of her face. I'm adding a little bit more peach color over here because I felt it was a bit too white, just to give it more of her dusky skin tone. And my favorite part, where you just take off the tape, which is very satisfying. And do take it off carefully. I know I have speeded up the video so it looks like I'm doing it really fast, but you want to be gentle. You don't want any paper kind of tearing with the tape. And here's a scene of Rekha from the movie Amraojon Ada. And thank you for watching. If you do paint along and you want to share the photographs, please leave a photograph of your work in the comments or tag us, Artists and Artisans Development and Network, wherever you post. We would love to see your work. Thanks for following along.
नैना लागे रे जाने क्या हो अब आगे रे पिया तो से पिया तो से पिया तो से नैना लागे रे रात को जब चांद चमके जल उठे तन मेरा मैं कहूँ मत करो चंदा इस गली का फेरा हाँ हाँ हो रात को जब चांद चमके जल उठे तन मेरा मैं कहूँ मत करो चंदा इस गली का फेरा आना मोरा सैया जब आए चमकना उस रात को जब मिलेंगे तन मन पिया तो से पिया तो से पिया तो से नैना लागे रे नैना लागे रे जाने क्या हो अब आगे रे
Hello everyone, I'm Tainiyat Siddiqui. I'm a mixed media and abstract artist. I love working in landscapes and florals and paintings that have architectural features in it. I do have a company by the name of Canvas Stories that does art events throughout GTA. They can be corporate events or even private events. So today I'm so excited that we are going to do a workshop where I've incorporated some architectural features. So let's get started. All right, so let's get started with our painting today. And this is the painting that we would be drawing and painting. And I'll go over with the materials that I have used today. So let's start with the book. This is the mixed media book that I use. It has mixed media paper in it. It's quite durable and it's really nice. I really like it. I will be using a green tape, painter's tape that you can get in a hardware store or even dollar store. I like to put it around my paper. Gives you a nice border. Then I've used a couple of brushes here. A wide straight edge brush and then a round edged if you have a wider straight edge as well, and a pointed one, and then a couple of Sharpies and a pencil and an eraser. And the paints that I have used today is black and yellow ochre, and I have used a red deep, and you can use any brand, it doesn't really matter. So I have poured a little bit in my plate here, and I do like to work with water in two containers. One is a small container, so it helps me to decide how much water I want in my brush. I can see it well, and then I keep a little glass jar where I can dip my brushes so they don't get spoiled and they don't get dry. So let's get started now. So I like to start with the composition and to decide where we want to put what. So as you can see, this architectural feature is right more on the left side here. And then I have a few arches going up and few here. We have a sun almost in the center, and there is a balcony that is jutting out a little bit and a few birds here. So let's do our composition on our paper, and you can see that I have already put the green tape. It gives you a nice border and really looks nice once we remove it. So if you look at this page, I like to normally give it a nice light center line going up to down. Just divide your page into 4 quarters. It's very light, so probably you won't be able to see it as well. And then if you can draw a line that goes in the middle on the left side here, that gives us the center of our building that we are drawing, just here. This would be our reference. Now, if you look at the painting here, there is a dome, a few balconies. There's a balcony here and arches here. There's a nice jutting roof and a few arches down here. So let's get started. So I would kind of take it midway from the top here and make a marking for our dome around this much, maybe just above our center line. This is my center line. Then I will draw a line going straight here for our roof and a slant line here that would take us up to our dome line here. And then this is my center line. I'm going to go down and I will make another roof here. So this would be my roof. So I'll take a straight line going up there and then a slant line here. And I'm going to just take another horizontal line. So these are just our guidelines here. And I'm going to make my center line, which is going from top to down, just go down here. So this is kind of giving us a rough idea of our building that we are trying to draw here. And then we will make a line right here to guide us of where we want our arches to go. As you can see, it's right here. So let's draw some arches. There are all kinds, various kinds of arches that we can draw. I have a few sketches here, rough sketches. This is like a pointed arch. You can see it goes up here and it joins in the center. And then you have the ogee arch, which is like an S shaped here, and it joins right in the center again. Then you have the horseshoe arch, which is circular. And then you have the multifoil arch, which kind of goes in different directions, but it is circular as well. So you can decide which arch you would like to put in here, but it doesn't really matter. Something simple we can start doing. And just roughly, we're going to draw some arches here. As you can see, I'm drawing some arches, a little bit circular, and then straight lines. Don't worry about it being symmetrical, because this is just going to be some work where we just want to have some fun and give you a feeling of an architectural building. And then let's do the same thing over here. So let's draw a rectangular block. There's really no specific, sizes. And let's do maybe 4 of them. You can decide, maybe more or less, whatever is, comfortable for you. I'm going to draw 4 small ones, just here. And that is it, really. This is going to be our framework. We'll just do a little bit of an outline for our dome and just make a mark in the top here and a circular shape, semicircle, and just even it out. So that's it, really. we're going to use our eraser and just try to erase the lines we don't need, especially the center line and the center line this way. And that's it really. And then we are ready to start painting. That's it. Wherever you don't need those lines, we're going to rub it off. Okay, so I'm going to take my straight edge brush, and I am going to now start with my lightest color, which is the yellow, and just dip a little bit of my brush into the water, and then take the yellow, and I'm going to start from the top right here, and we're going to go almost midway, and your strokes are going to be left to right, and you're going to go over your building as well. Just enjoy the process and kind of, you know, keep adding a little bit of yellow, a little bit of water, and start doing it. Just go one way, left to right. That's it really. It's as simple as this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same brush and do the bottom part as well. As you can see, it's a sunset, so I'm going to use the red color for the sunset in the middle, but I'm going to try and finish the top and bottom, and gently just keep adding the colors. So I'm going to go almost to our halfway, and I will stop here a bit, and then I will use the same brush, dip it in water, and use the red. So start from the middle, right here in the middle, and move upwards and down. So I'm going to go move upwards. Keep adding water as much as you need. Just go nicely to the edges. And we'll end it till the next, our next yellow line, which is here. See how beautiful the sunset looks now. Okay, so what we're going to do now, just so that we blend it, I'm going to wipe my brush on a paper towel. Just dip my brush again in water and go into the yellow, and start from my yellow and go towards the red. So I'm starting from bottom towards the yellow, and then just bring it towards the red and blend it. I'll do the same with the top part. I'll start with the yellow side and bring my brush lower to the red. And this is how I did my blending. And I can just do another coat on top. Gives a little bit of variety, texture. You can leave a bit of yellow, more of yellow showing, or more of red showing, whatever you wish to do. This really does our background. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my circular, round edge, brush, and I'm going to dip it in water and just dip it in our yellow and going to make the sun here, right here. Now it will start getting a bit red, but that's okay. We'll be working on layers on it. So keep adding more of the yellow. And we're going to let it dry a little bit. You can wipe your brush well and get a thicker coat of the yellow and work on it. Just like this. Okay, I got a brush bristle here, so I better remove it. There you are. It has a slight shade of the sun here. Okay, now we're going to start with our outline. So I'm going to wipe this brush with my paper towel really well. And we're going to start with our black. And I will start with my dome right here. And we already have a bit of outline, so it becomes quite easy. So I'm going to start with our dome. Just take your black paint in the brush, and you can use your round edge brush to do your dome because it becomes easier. We try to use thick black paint because then it will be nice and it will stand out, and you can see the contrast as well. But if it's not moving as well, you'll dip your brush in a bit of water, and we'll keep doing this. And adjust your edges as you are painting. And now we have this roof part, which I know is going to come here. I can see it, it's here. Now you can leave the really fine ends for later. Oops. And kind of use a finer brush, a thinner brush to do its work there. So here I go. This has given me the roof and the dome. And I have another layer to go before I start the arches. So if you can see, I have this part here, which I'm going to go down. You can make a straight line. You can move your brush and make it straight so that you can fill in the area in between the arches. So I'm going to do the same over here and over here, right? And I have some filling up here that I need to do. And then I have my arches that I have to create. Now for this, if you wish to, we can start using a fine brush. I'm using my really fine brush and give it a outline. Just a fine outline. And then so that it's easier for us to fill it in. There you go. Then I filled it up. And on the go, you can keep adjusting your arches. You don't have to worry about them because it's black. Once you've gone over it, then it becomes difficult. But just look at the shades that are emerging. Now you can see the window, the arches through, which is so beautiful. Look at this. Now you can see them emerging. Now let's go to the next part of the roof. And I could use my fine brush so that I can, you know, control it more. But it really depends on how comfortable you are. So I'm just use this one. And I am going to now fill it up. Nice black color. You can even, wherever you're coming to edges, you can shift to your finer brush so that you don't kind of go over your lines. And keep adding water when it dries up. If it's too wet, like I feel this has become too wet, I'm going to dab it and take more paint and start. Now we're coming very close to our other arches. So these are pointy arches that I have used. Now you're just going to make the outline with your fine brush. I love doing architectural drawings and features and arches and domes and minars, and it kind of reminds me of back home, and I really feel part of the culture, and you know, feels really good. I've seen this while growing up. I've seen these places, I've seen these arches, I've seen these domes. So they kind of remind me a lot of, you know, memories from back home. And it's a great feeling to be able to draw it and paint them. So as you can see, I have a fine line here. Just here. Again, my brush has become wet, so I'm going to wipe it. And I'm going to now start with the, remember we did the straight lines. So I start off with the straight lines, then it becomes easy for you to paint in between. And we have another one here. And one more here. Oops, we have another one here too. So this would be the bottom part. And wherever you have fine lines, you can work on it later with your finer brush, your thin brush. So keep controlling the water. That's why I like using a small, you know, little cup of water, so I can see how much water I'm taking in. And that way I can kind of control how I want my backgrounds to be. You can see one has yellow arches and one has the red peeping inside. There, let's see. Let's see, I can just do these ends here, and I did leave a part over here. I did leave a part over here, so I'm just going to finish it just down here. And wherever you feel you need to even out the black, you can start doing that now, because the main part is done. We're just going to even it up a bit because there are some strokes that you can see. So you can just go over it once, like wherever you feel you need to, or you can even do it once it has dried up. And I need to do this edge here. So I'm going to start with this roof. And here is the fine line. That's why I use the fine brush. Then we have a bit of a balcony here, so I can use my fine brush again and just draw some straight lines. Gives you a balcony feel. And I have a bit of I want to even out the black here. And let's just do our finishing touches. Wherever you feel you need to just go over it or adjust the arches, you can. And if you feel you're happy, you just leave them. And that is it really. Then I am going to do the tip here. And for this, it's pretty easy. You just need to make a little ball, circular ball out here, just above your dome. And then this circular part can be raised a little bit here. Just teeny weeny. And then we join it with a straight line. And then take it up. You can draw another circular ball here. And a tip again. Okay, and just a few birds around, you know, beautiful birds enjoying the sunset. It's just drawing some basically wide V's. These are nice and beautiful birds enjoying the sunset. That's it really. Just a few of them. And I just wanted to thank the government of Canada, and I feel very honored to be able to celebrate the diversity of our country and our society and our communities. And as well as for me, multiculturalism is not just about celebrating my culture and my traditions, but also to be able to be part and to celebrate our neighbors and our friends and different communities and their cultures. And it's just a great opportunity. It's beautiful. So I'm really thankful, and I can just remove this and let's see how it has turned out. Let's do it. And you will have a full, you know, picture that you can frame, or you can put it up, or it's beautiful and you can enjoy it. It was lovely being able to be part of this whole multiculturalism. Here we go. So this is how it turned out. And if you want to, you can let it dry and do another coat, or you can just enjoy it as is. Thank you for joining. Thank you.
The turning point in everyone's life. Many felt, are we gonna get back to normal life? And when? Is this the end? Well, there is nothing called the end. There is always a new beginning waiting for you. Those moments gave us the time for things which we always loved to do. Trust me, I found myself and pursue my faded passion. I am Anup Joseph. I hail from Bangalore, the garden city of India. I have called Canada my new home for more than a decade now. When I am at home, I truly enjoy photography, video shoots, and singing. Most important, I love to spend time, cherish every moment with my family, occasionally sing for them, just like this beautiful song.